Hello and welcome to the next in the series of video reviews for thelondonbiker.com and journeytorussia.co.uk. Today's discussion is about cooking and cooking pots and integrated systems. It's all prompted by a discussion going on Horizons Unlimited, where there's quite a good discussion about whether or not you should be using aluminium or stainless steel, dedicated sets like this, or whether or not you should go for something like the Trangia or other integrated systems. So you can obviously go for something that's very basic and very cheap, stainless steel, exceptionally light, although quite bunky. Taking with you a separate cooker, probably not a camping gas one, but something similar to that. Or you can go for a multi-fuel burner system that's integrated with the pots itself. So what I'm going to do today is actually look at the Trangia system in detail. Okay, so we'll start with the Trangia, and as you can see, it's a completely sealed system. It comes with a strap, and this is the 25-5. That -5 just indicates that it's the non-stick system. And this one, this non-stick system, as you can see, is coated in Teflon, and that's really handy for a frying pan, it has to be said. Now, I've also bought for it the multi-disc, which is invaluable. It's a colander as well as a cut-in disc. That's really, really useful. And as you actually get into this system, what you notice is that it comes with its own little kettle, which I consider invaluable, and then 2 further pots. Both of these pots are non-stick, and to be perfectly frank with you, I will probably replace these because I'm not sure if you can see it, but the surface of the non-stick is actually beginning to pit. And I haven't used these an awful lot. I've used Trangia for a long time, but the non-stick pans, they're not holding up to the job as well as I thought. But what I will be keeping is the non-stick frying pan. So Trangia is incredibly simple to put together. You just pull the strap out of the system, out of the way, we don't need that. And then originally the Trangia was actually just a very simple meth burner. So if we open up the kettle, what we'll find inside is the wonderful waterproof bag, and you also have a handy little pair of clips to pick up the saucepans. But importantly, what you'll discover inside is the meth burner itself. Now, the way it works is actually really quite simple. Just open up the meth burner. It's completely sealed, so you can keep meths in here, and I do, even though I have the multi-fuel burner, because it means that if I'm stuck in the middle of nowhere and I've run out of all other fuel, then at least I can burn this. And the meths just pours into this burner like so. Simply done. And it's just a simple case of deciding how hot you want the flame with a lid and lighting it. Very carefully. There we go. Now, I'm not sure you can see that flame, but trust me, it's nice and hot. And then what you do is you use the simmer ring to decide how hot or not you want the flame. Now, this is very good, and I'm just going to put that out because I don't want it to get too hot because I need to remove it. The good thing about this is it's incredibly simple, and you can burn pretty much anything in this meth burner, which is very handy, but it's not exactly the fastest system in the world. And we discovered this to my irritation when we spent a weekend down on Dartmoor training for Russia. It took over 5 minutes to get a cup of tea going, and that is just, at the end of the day, totally unacceptable. So what I did is I spent some money on the multi-fuel burner. Now, if we're looking at prices, the actual Trangia kit itself, the 25, which is suitable for up to 4 people, you can pick that up for about £47, which is, you know, really quite reasonable. That's the non-stick set. The fuel bottle, this is the 1 litre version for the multi-fuel burner, is £10. The multi-disc, which I showed you earlier, is £4. There's a bag that all of this comes in, that's another £4. And the multi-fuel burner itself, you can pick up for between £79 and £80. Now, the thing about this is that it's worth every single penny. And yes, it does start adding up. You can buy a smaller one, the Trangia 27. and you can certainly be carrying your fuel around in something different than the proper Trangia bottle. But the reason I do that is if I just show you how easy it is to fill up your bottle. That is just so incredibly simple that for £10 I think I can't be bothered to get anything that's cheaper and doesn't do the job quite as well. You can also buy a gas conversion set for the Trangia, and they start between about £35 and £40. But again, you know, gas can be difficult to get hold of, and this will burn anything. Now, anyone who's bought the multi-fuel set for the Trangia will have gone through the how the hell does it all go together. Well, let me show you. Get that in first and then drop everything through so it's sitting on the top. Then what you want to do is bring the fuel holes through the small hole. Once that's done, you can actually extend the handle and push it through the hole. Then just push it home, safe and sound. Just twist it so that it's in the right position within the hole, and you're away. It can be a little bit tight. It is certainly a little bit awkward. But actually, once you get used to it, you're away with no problems at all. What I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how this lights, and I'm going to test it by making a cup of tea. Here's a mug I've prepared earlier, and here's some milk I prepared earlier. Very important. What I'm also going to do is show you a little trick with breakfast, and that is cooking your egg. So when you're making your tea in the morning, just drop your egg in the kettle, and 3 minutes you've got breakfast. But let's just get this stove going, and I'll show you how it primes. Now the fuel bottle itself takes approximately 30 pumps to get up to pressure, so let's just start doing that. You'll feel when it comes up to pressure, so there we go. That's pretty much at pressure now. I can feel that. That's a good pressure to be at. And what it's actually got is a very clever system where if you lie the bottle on the side where it says on, that's the bottle pushing fuel into the system. If you lie it the other way marked off, then that's actually how you stop the system burning. And that's quite good, because what that allows you to do is to stop the system, and it allows all the pressure, all the gas to come out of this bottle, depressurizing this bottle, but it also gives the jets a little bit of a blow through already. Now I'm using paraffin in this particular test, but you know, as a multi-fuel system, it can burn anything. So there we go, we've got that in there now. The priming system is you turn it on, 1 banana, 2, give it 2 seconds, turn it off. Now that should have put enough fuel in there, out of the bottle, to prime. I'm just going to move the lamp back because this does have a habit of flaring up. So we'll just get in there and hopefully that will catch. There we go. So that's just burning now. In fact, what I'm going to do is open the window. But what this is doing now is just priming the system. Just getting a little bit of heat. There's no fuel coming through at all. All we're doing is burning that little bit of fuel that I just left through. So you've got a nice yellow flame there. Obviously no good for cooking, not very hot at all. We're just burning some of that fuel through. And it's going to flare up like this. And in a moment that will settle down. There you go. And then as it begins to settle, just give a little bit of a turn on the tap, and then you can see it coming through. Now that's hardly anything, that is barely on, but you can see that there's, well, maybe you can't see, but there's blue heat there and just yellow. Now if I just whack that all the way up, you can see how intense that is. So I'm just going to knock that down just to keep it ticking over. I'm going to put the wind cover on, which also holds everything. We'll put our kettle ready. Now what I'm going to do is cook just enough for a cup of tea, and this is what I like about this kettle over some other systems, is that it actually has a lid which allows me to measure exactly how much water I want to go in there and pour it in with my mug, but it also allows me, as I say, to put that egg in there. I'm going to take that egg out actually because I don't think we've got enough time. Then, kettle on. Get it really going. You can really hear that now. So there we go. We can now see the steam coming out of the top of that kettle. That water is boiling very happily. And that took just under a minute. And I can just whack that right the way down now because that water's boiling. Grab my tea bag and we'll just put a dash of milk in. Any TV chef soon needs them, eh? And what I'm going to do now, to turn off the system, you don't actually turn this off, you just flip the bottle over and that will simply run through the system, blow out the jets, depressurize the fuel bottle, and we're away. And the handy little tool that comes with the Trangia, which allows you to clean the jets, get in there and take the system out. Also, very handy for fishing your tea bag out your mug. Good morning.